On today's show, we're going to be talking about this whole Kev on stage controversy with
Interesting.
it's basically Kev versus other Christians. I mean, not really, but really. So we're just going to say Kev on stage had some comments about the LGBTQ community and the Christians wasn't showing the love, or maybe they're not feeling it the same way. Virginia, former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax and his wife, Cerina's case. It was a very tragic event that happened. We're gonna get deeper into it as the show goes on, and we're also gonna be having some conversations about the male mind, whether or not this rise in reports of male domestic violence is a mental health issue or is it a challenge to patriarchal norms? Yo, welcome to another episode of Society and Pop Culture 101. I am Instructor BK Spades.
I'm instructing Novocaine.
Welcome back, by the way. It was glad to have you back on the screen and not in the comment section.
Thank you. It feels so good to be back. I needed a well needed break. As you know, I mean, I haven't spoke about this publicly yet, but I had a loss in my family, and I just needed some time off. It's been a lot of things going on in my personal life where I just sometimes you just need that reset. So, but I'm back. I'm back
It's good to have
now.
you back. Condolences to you and your fam too. You know what I'm saying? You're always in our hearts, our thoughts, on our minds, in our prayers. Um
Thank you. I appreciate
and
it.
okay, let's jump into this lead here. Kev on stage had some comments that he recently I won't double down on, I guess you could say, on
Mm-hmm.
Cam Newton's podcast where he's basically saying that he loves everybody regardless. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what walk of life you are. He loves you. And he ends up specifically talking about the LGBTQ community. And that is where the ire kind of sets in, and all the other Christians kind of piled in on him, saying that he was wrong, and the usual spiel.
I hate that we have come to a point where, when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community, where we're still having these conversations.
Yeah.
He is a God fearing man.
Hmm.
He is supposed to be Christ like. If he's supposed to be Christ like, wouldn't he love everyone?
Yeah, and I think that is the part of the conversation that is not confusing me, but is
It's
not
confusing me
anger.
because I don't get it.
It's concerning. I don't want to say confusing. I say it's concerning me because if Jesus was sitting in the room with any of these people, with any of us, um, the thing that would be happening is he's just be there. The thing about Jesus is he meets you where you are. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it doesn't matter what walk of life you're in. That's not saying, like, I know a lot of people quote the Bible where you're talking about he sat with the bill collector, not the bill collector, the tax
He definitely was
collectors,
with the bill
and
collectors.
yeah. So when I'm sorry, I got my camera in the way of the comment scene, and I seen some comments pop up. We're gonna get to them, you guys. We're gonna get to the student section. Um, so when we hear stories about him sitting with these sinners, it's not necessarily about him um saying that their sin is okay. It's saying that these are humans, these are people, and we're not gonna lead with hate, we're gonna lead with love, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And one, Kev on stage ain't Jesus, and it kind of comes back around to that conversation we were having about Nikki. I think the difference between him and Nikki is Kev has been in this space this entire time, right? But even Kev would tell you himself, he's not preaching at you. He's just showing you his faith. And he's doing it in a way I think you're supposed to be doing it.
Right.
Not everybody's going to be perfect. Not everybody's going to have all the answers. Do I have all the answers? No. Do I have some answers? Yeah, to my understanding, yes. Do I have to go and constantly learn and read and understand it for myself? Yes. Do I have to have people come in and explain things to me? Yes. But one thing you would never get me to do is give you an answer as if I'm Jesus or something, because I'm not. I'm not Jesus. I'm not God. I'm not a preacher. Do I wear my faith on my sleeves? Yes. And I love it that way.
As
But
you should.
I actually agree with what he was saying. Experience with a lot of us that grew up in the church, specifically the black church, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we we know the sin exists, but we excuse certain sins.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as even though we've been taught and even probably repeated the words that no sin is bigger than the other, we get into that lane where we're judging certain sins differently. And in fact, I won't even say just in the black church, because it's not just in the black church, it's in every church. It's even I've even seen it in my church. If we just keeping it a buck, we keeping it 1,000. You know what I'm saying? So this is not something that is new. It's not something that is groundbreaking, but I think there's a new way of understanding. That makes sense. We
Why
kind of
is
have an
there?
understanding of more of an equal human first approach.
What's
I'll
so
explain
wrong
that
about
deeper later.
being gay? Like, I just never understood it. Like, how is this such
Um,
a bigger sin than coveting your neighbor's wife?
so
How is this a
my
bigger
thoughts.
sin than murder, thief? How are these bigger sins? Like, what make it a bigger sin than the other?
It's to my understanding that no sin is bigger than the other sin. Sin is sin.
I can't tell.
It's like if I go to heaven right now and I was an adulterer, I'm still going to the same hell. You know what I'm saying? It's no there's no different categories. Um, okay, what's up?
Hiya.
The Bible does say it's an abomination, but also what I've been finding is what I've been trying to study, because I had those same exact questions. Um, anyway, to have because I had those same questions, I've been like reading in different. I start reading the comments, y'all. I
I
start reading
saw your
different versions. I start reading different versions of the Bible,
hmm
because if you read different versions of the Bible, different translations, um, things sound differently and you can interpret them differently. And I think a lot of the different types of Bibles interpret things differently. That makes sense.
Yes.
Um, I can't tell you. I think it's the Darby Bible is the one I've been reading into.
Darby. Who they?
Yes, it's like one of the earliest translations. Like
Okay.
everything sounds kind of stoic.
Okay.
Um, while I've been, I'm still studying this, y'all. So don't be like, "Oh, BK is the greatest at this." I'm not, okay. But I've been kind
I get my
of
info from
digging
you.
into it. That's bad. Um, I started digging into it a little bit deeper to see exactly what the language is. Because after I read the Sodom and Gomorrah story, I didn't get that the main sin out of that, because that's where a lot of people challenge use their knowledge to attack the LGBT community. Um, I didn't get the understanding that being gay was the only sin that was happening in Sodom and Gomorrah. There were a plethora of sins. The whole thing was happening. A lot of stuff. There was gambling. There was obviously male on male sex. Okay. Um, there were adultery because some of them men was married. So it was a lot of different sins happening. It was a sinful place, and that's why it got destroyed. It didn't get destroyed,
Just because it
again,
was
to my
gay.
understanding, just because they were gay. And I think that is like the bigger issue that I have with a lot of preachers, because that's how they attack it. Do I think being gay is a sin. I haven't exactly read that for myself in those explicit terms. And that's not me saying that I don't think it is. That's me saying I really don't know. It is. I am still studying for myself. I really don't
We're not about
know.
to get comments. I just don't understand how a sexual preference. Well, I guess that's a slippery slope. Now that I'm saying it out loud, because some people's
I do,
sexual
oh, you started the
preferences.
sentence. Go ahead. What are you gonna say? What are you
I was
gonna
gonna
say?
say I don't understand how a sexual preference could be a sin, but some sexualities are sins in my at least in my book. Because the one that start with a B, oh no,
Are we
that's a
talking
sin.
about the animal lover people?
Yeah, you know that one.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
so that's how I was like. I guess it's a slippery slope.
for me, I kind of look at it like, all right, let's break this down this way. God is a parent, correct?
Hmm.
If I look at how my parents talk to me and we're godlike, if my dad tells me not to go somewhere, does he know what's going to happen at that place? No. Do he know drugs going to be there? No. Does he know alcohol is going to be there? No. Does he know what I'm going to do when I get to the place he told me not to get there? No. But he understands that if I go to a certain environment, then the temptation is there, and then I might get into drinking. And then if I get into drinking, I could try drugs. And if I get into drugs, I could go into harder drugs. And then there's a slippery slope there. So for me, I think it's like almost like a gateway thing.
I'm
Don't
gonna
quote
read
me, y'all.
these comments.
We're finna get into the comments because they're getting real juicy over there. So I think it's like more of a gateway thing. If I'm telling you not to tell a lie, and you tell a little white lie, and then eventually that little white
Okay.
lie become a bigger lie,
Yes.
then now we got a bigger issue on our hands. So if you stay away from the temptations of those things, then you won't go deeper into those things.
If
But
you have
then
the
if I'm
gay
talking
in you,
about,
the gay is in you. You can't be tempted to be gay as you gay. We go.
I don't know, but then we are, and no, I'm enjoying this. So
Me too.
a lot of things that people forget about the Bible is the time period in which the Bible was written. Society was different, and a lot of the messages, a lot of the prophecies were to those people that they were talking to. It wasn't for us per se. Now, does that mean that the Bible don't have lessons for us? No, it doesn't.
So
But
gay was still
there was
new.
a specific, yeah, there it was a specific thing that was happening with a specific people that they just wrote
Yes,
down a
it
record
was.
for,
That
and
makes
we got the Bible.
actually now that makes a lot more sense than anything. It's
Like
outdated.
women, think about it, like women not being able to preach and be in the pulpit. What
Yes.
was happening at that time period? In those time periods, women
Especially
wasn't allowed to
men.
read, they wasn't allowed to
Exactly.
write, and they wasn't allowed to be educated. So
Exactly.
naturally, the person that's talking is gonna kind of follow that lead. You know what I'm saying?
It's too soon to be gay. I want to read these.
All right, hold on.
I'm gonna
Let's
start from the
let
beginning because
yeah, start from the beginning. Come on.
I'm gonna read a lot of them.
This whole show, this
That
whole
is
show in a
double
whole nother
barrel. What
area
have
now.
we have here? He said nothing wrong. It's so disappointing how church leaders make Jesus fit their narrative. White Dem 1984.
I agree. He didn't say anything wrong. I'm supposed to love my brother no matter what my brother is into or what my brother does. I'm supposed to show him love. I'm supposed to pick him up if he falls. It's not my job to preach at somebody to tell them they're wrong because I'm not a preacher.
Exactly.
Go
Me
ahead.
telling my kids that Santa Claus is real and drowning one of the what? And drowning one of the bathtub, I feel like one is bigger than the other. Bye, that is. Julian said,
He's saying because no one sin is bigger than the other.
yes, yes.
It
But
feels
it
like
just
that's a
got dark.
human thing.
It just got dark at the end.
It did get a little dark there, homie. Um, I do think there is like one sin, like one unforgivable sin. I believe that's what it's called, and that's the one where you blaspheme against the Holy Spirit.
One doesn't trump the other. It's just how preaching interprets it and their own prejudices. Facts. Two consenting adults
Yeah,
mating should not be considered a sin. Talk about it.
I mean, consent doesn't. And we're talking if we're talking from the prospect if God is like that is a sin, okay? If God says it's a sin, it's a sin. And I think realistically,
When
what
they
do we know about gods? What do we know about gods?
that they gay, God forgive you.
I'm not touching that one. You're not finna mess up. You're not finna mess up my ticket into the gates. That's not what you finna do. That's not what you finna do up in here.
I'm
Um,
sorry. I'm so sorry, but in like every lore, what they doing? What them gods and
okay.
goddesses doing? Okay.
Aside from sexuality, when the gods in any story has subjects, they just make rules and you kind of just have to follow them, right? It's
True.
not like it's not like you have too much of a choice in some cases. And here you do have a choice. Like you have free will. You don't have to follow it. But God is a God. So at the end of the day, God gonna do God stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately.
Um, that's just how it's gotta go. That's how I look at it. Like that's just how it is. Like if my dad told me not to go to the party and I go to the party, I mean I could go to the party, but that don't mean there's no consequences for me going to the party.
Yeah. Yeah. True that. May have been dark, but it's real life stuff. Yes, that is true. That is.
Personally, I like I said
Jill.
earlier,
Jill, yes.
I agree with Kev. Like if I see you and you gay, okay, you gay.
I I agree wholeheartedly.
It doesn't hurt me any. If it is a sin, guess who has to answer for that? Not me, because I didn't do it. You did it. So that's your life. That's your choices. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. That don't
That's
mean I hate you.
true.
That don't mean I don't like you. That don't mean I don't want to be in the room with you. That's just me saying that it wasn't my decision. If I told a lie, that ain't got nothing to do with you. If I have profanity, that ain't got nothing to do unless I lied on you and then start a whole thing. But that's a different subject.
Oh, that's a whole nother
Um,
subject.
if I curse, that's my cross to bear.
I'm saying that comment.
If I watch porno, that's my cross to
Don't
bear. That's
whisper
not
it.
yours. Well, I'm whispering it for the
Okay,
algorithm so we don't get in trouble.
okay.
Not you know what I'm
Just
saying?
say a different word. I ain't never seen you act like that before.
Okay, if I manipulate myself while watching explicit content,
There you go.
that's on me. That's on me. That's not on you. So if being gay is a sin, okay, it's not on me. Why do I don't have to persecute you for it. I don't have to yell at you about it. I don't have to be mad that you doing it. I'm not worried about you turning my sons. I'm not worried about you turning my daughters because they gonna learn what they gonna learn and they gonna do what they gonna do. All I can do is just teach them right for wrong and hope they make good decisions in life because that's all I really want for anybody. Just make decisions and survive. Like we got bigger things to worry about, whether or not Kev on stage think gay is a sin, or it's
Ooh,
not that he don't think gay is a sin because he never said that. What he had said was that he don't care what you do, he gonna love you regardless.
Deacon brother.
We are like we're like on a whole different tangent now.
This is why you're Deacon brother BK. That's exactly why, right there. I hope you.
We got any more comments?
I hope you clipped that. Actually,
Hold on,
I
I
got.
like this though. I'm gonna be honest. Hold
I'm
on here.
sorry.
No, what?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry. We clipped it at the same time. I'm sorry.
oh, okay. My bad. So me telling my
I'm
kids
ready
that
for you.
Santa Claus is
To talk
real.
about this.
And no, I wanted to address it
Oh,
for us, for the human mind. Yes, one is bigger than the other. Okay. But if your whole thing is worried about the soul that's inside of the person that's driving the meat mech suit, um, I like the
just piss me
I
off.
like I like the visual. There's a little Attack on Titan humor, you guys. I like the visual of like having like the clear basin, and then someone taking some ink, and that ink represents the sin. And when you put the ink into the water, that clear water or the milk, whatever, what happens? Like it gets dark, like in that area that the drop is dropped in, and that's a small sin, small lie, right? But if you keep dropping that small lie, eventually
Yeah.
the white becomes black and it gets dark and tainted.
Ain't nothing wrong with
You know
that.
what I'm saying? That's how I like to look at it.
WrestleFaith. Hi. I was trying to click your comment when BK was clicking at the same time. I
Yeah,
miss you.
hey Faith, it's good to see you.
I love me some gays.
Um,
I want to be gay so bad.
Thaddeus said, God's be watching us while we mate. I mean, maybe, maybe I don't know. I don't know.
Nah, I've been trying to hold it in this whole time. He's talking about something. I want to be gay so bad. I just can't look at a dude like that.
Who said that?
That is.
Thaddeus said that,
That's
bro,
how do you turn
bro.
someone gay though? Did someone turn you straight? That's not how gay works. Let me put that on the screen. Thank you.
Okay, so I can understand why people say this though, because if you look at
No,
our society, no,
gay is
wait,
gay.
wait, wait.
All right,
I'm
I'm gonna let
saying,
you go,
I'm
brother.
saying, if we have to look on this as equality, right? In our society, I will almost argue that we're a blank slate. You know, of course, we have to mate. You want to make children, that's innate, right? But we're kind of indoctrinated this entire time. Depending on where your place of origin is, where you're born at, you're indoctrinated with whatever's surrounding you. Correct? Am I wrong in that? I'm not. Um, so we watch nothing growing up but straight people fall in love, straight people make babies. Any cartoon was almost erased of any sexual content. It was all just straight laced stuff. And people still kind of turned out gay.
They still turned out gay.
So I don't know. I don't know. Is it biological? Maybe.
I
Are
don't
you
know.
born that way? Maybe. Are you born straight? Maybe. I don't know.
Are you born straight? Did I turn straight? I'm not straight.
Yo, Faith.
I was hoping you wasn't gonna put it on the screen. That's why I turned my
We
camera
call
off.
on God when we mate. I am sure He pops up like,
Yes,
yes,
my
my
child.
child. Y'all gonna get me banned from church, man.
Good thing I don't go. We gotta get into the next topic.
No, I'm gonna paraphrase the rest of this Kev on
I
stage
can't
video.
breathe.
So he was talking about his brother, right? And he was saying that his brother
Ooh.
was sinning, like living in wedlock, had a baby, wasn't married. You know the drill with that. That's most of the young people we know. We be out here doing our thing, and his brother sat in the back of the church. And he said every time his brother came to church, they loved on him to the point where eventually he moved from the back of the church to the middle of the church, from the middle of the church to the front of the church. And then eventually he became like the Sunday school superintendent or whatever the head guy is over Sunday school or Wednesday nights, whatever. Um, the same thing, it was in reverse for a young lady that was male presenting gay, right? She was in the front of the church. She was forced to be there. And then nobody gave her that same respect that they gave his brother. So eventually she moved to the back of the church and then she was gone. Um, and then there was another example that he gave of a young man that was coming to his church on one of the youth programs that they have. And everything was going great. And then he met up with a deacon outside when he went to the bathroom once, and the deacon was asked him why he gay, and then he stopped coming because he felt attacked. And that's what happens a lot in the church, and that is the part of the church that, for me, annoys me because our goal is not to judge people. Our goal is not to tell people where they're wrong. That's not our job. Our job is to present the information. It is to present God in a way that, you know, God sees fit to be presented, and not to judge you, not to tell you you're wrong, not to yell at you from the pulpit. Is to teach you what's in the word and teach you how to walk through life. And then it's also for me as a Christian man to show people what that looks like in my everyday walk, right? So if I'm not doing those things, then what right do I have? This is a tangent a little bit. What right do I have to tell somebody else what to do? If I'm struggling with things because I'm human, then it's not for me to yell at you about that. You feel me? But anyway, the point is, we ain't supposed to be judging people like that. Now, if you were already in the faith and
Mm,
you were like really in the faith, and I seen you like backsliding, for lack of a better term, then I can go to you and say, "Yo, hey, I see you struggling with some things. Let me help you through that, bro." You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And that's how it's supposed to be. I'm not supposed to judge you. That ain't my job. That's God's job. God would do whatever it is God wants to do within that person's life. All I got to do is be me and present you the information. Maybe not throw it. If you come to the church, I'm gonna tell you because you're at the church. You know, if you're going through something, I might pray for you. That's it. The rest of it, for me, this is just how I do things. The rest of me, I'm just basically just living my life, and I'm trying to be Christ-like. Do I curse sometimes? A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. You know what I'm saying? Do I
Good
curse on
night.
this show? No. No. Do
I
I do
only
I
do
curse
good.
around my kids? No.
I only
Is
give
it
a curse
something I'm working on?
once.
Is it something I'm working on? Yes.
I'm glad you're
But
working
I'm
on it.
human and I'm flawed. And that's how it should be.
I'm proud of
Faith
you.
said, and we're gonna move on from this conversation, I promise. Not to get preachy, but the church is not the church as God meant it. The church was and is forever the people. In out struggles, we are to uplift, support, and pray with action for our brethren. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Anything more than that? Anything more than that? I don't agree with you.
There it is.
Present your
Simple.
word. Present your word. Be the hospital, not hospice. Be the hospital. When someone comes in broken, meet them where they are, because that's what Jesus did. He met people where they are. He didn't judge them. He didn't beat them down with his words. He said, "Hey, what's up, my child? You looking like you're struggling. What's going on? Well, let me give you this piece of advice, and you go with that. Let me wash your feet. Let me break you off this bread and this wine. Y'all enjoy that. You know what I'm saying? Like Jesus was a cool
Some
dude.
bread and some wine.
If Jesus wasn't cool, he wouldn't have had cool parties. That's all I'm saying. No one was coming, but everybody wanted him at the party. They wanted him at the function. So
That's facts. All
anyway,
right.
sorry.
We have to move on.
Fine. Wait. Okay, we are final episode. I just talked about this on the final episode of Talking Tea yesterday. I also shouted out and said a prayer for society and pop culture. Love y'all. Oh, thank
Love
you.
you too,
I saw.
WrestleFaith.
I did see the thumbnail, and I was at church last night on Wednesdays. That's what I usually be doing, y'all. And I was like, I know this don't say final episode. It must be like some sort of series she doing. I'm kind of
Nope.
sad. Now I'm all quiet. You guys, we got to move on.
There has been very big tragedy. Former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax woke up about a week ago and decided that, he was going to murder his wife and then commit suicide. The reason why we're talking about this is because when this happened, it seems as though a few stories came out about black men harming their children or their wives, their partners. And I'm trying to figure out if the media is showing more of this or if the numbers are actually going up. And if the numbers are actually going up, that's alarming. That's a whole nother conversation that I didn't even think about to start talking about. But if the
Okay.
media is pushing it, this means that there's a huge problem that we need to fix before it gets to the numbers going up.
Okay. So I just used Google to ask this question of whether or not domestic violence with intimate partners is on the rise. And according to Google, and I really would like to get more in depth in this, but it's kind of quick for the show, you guys. It says over the 5-year period studied, the percentage of violent crimes within domestic relationships increased. Law enforcement reported more than 11,000 domestic violent murder victims, an additional 1.1 million victims of domestic violence. Of that million, nearly 75% of the victims were female. So that's according
You said
to the
11,000
FBI. Murder victims, yes. So
that
that's
were
according
reported.
to
This is everything that was reported.
Well, yeah, come on, it's the FBI. I didn't go into the article because we don't have time.
That's all
We
right.
probably bring this back up at another time. This is just a synopsis here. But if
But
that data is
long
true, that
story
is
short,
very alarming.
that's what I was going to say. Long story short, if the data is true, this is extremely alarming. It
Hmm.
doesn't. The reason why it's starting to be hard for me to talk about this because I take this very, very personal. I've had close friends, myself, family members, just being abused or later on lost their life because of abuse. Um, and the fact that the number is going up, and this is by race. This was just overall, right? That you saw.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't see it by race.
Personally, personally, I don't want to talk about it by race
Okay,
because
true.
those numbers are could usually be skewed, and I want to make sure that if we do bring that up, that we
It's
have
updated.
the the correct numbers because different places have different agendas. And just on a side note, whatever you're watching, listening to, reading, whatever source you are getting your information from, just know that there's always an agenda, and you should listen for whatever that agenda is. Just on
Right,
this side
right. And the agenda never ends well.
note. No, usually it
That's
doesn't.
how my mind
But I
was working earlier.
but
Was
I
how
will say that I no, I was gonna say that the reason I entered this conversation was I was watching Roland Martin, and they were talking about it, and they were talking about it from a mental health perspective. And I was then later, basically what they were saying was that more men needs to be involved in this conversation more actively, and that more men needs therapy, and that type of thing. And
how
then
much
um
longer are we going to talk about this? We've been doing this show
I
for a long
mean,
time now. We've been doing this
yeah.
show. Well, we've been podcasting. We've only been studying pop culture for a little bit, but
Yeah, it's just a third
it's,
season.
yeah, just the third season. But we've been podcasting for a very long time now. We've been advocating
Hmm.
for mental health for a very long time now. When are they? Not when are they? When are there to be spaces made for men in their mental health? Why is it still going to be an excuse to use? Oh, this is a mental health issue instead of I need to work on my mental health so I don't go this
Pause that question. Faith says she would love to join this conversation. You want to join this conversation like right now?
far.
Because I can send you the link. I can hit you up on the
We-
IG and send you the link.
exactly. If you want to be a part of it, right.
Yeah, you tell me. You tell me.
Um,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just don't enjoy hearing about these people in power, especially people in power, using mental health. She said, "Sure," as like a scapegoat in a sense, because what are we teaching the kids that since you do have this mental, that it's okay that you do these things, or you just trying to wrap your head around something this terrible. I'm not saying that it's not the reason, but come on now. But I'm gonna
Um,
call BS on the whole Roland Martin calling uh this situation a mental health situation. All because of everything that else that came out about this guy. All because of it.
I don't know. I can I can see why it would be okay. First of all, I want to preface this conversation, and I know this is probably going to sound terrible, but I don't mean it that way.
Oh,
Everybody's everybody's seems to be coming at this conversation from a perspective of where they are. Does that make sense?
mm-hmm.
It's like
Most of the time, most conversations are like that.
And I think the hard part for men in this conversation is, and not this one specifically, but just the overarching conversation. It comes down to we're not being heard, and it's all kind of being lumped into the one thing. You know what I'm saying? So we got the lady saying that no, you can't have your opinion on certain things because it's happening to us. Which, on a personal level, I understand. It is something that everybody should be in on the conversation, though. Like, ladies should be in on this conversation, men should be on this conversation. And we also need to understand that a lot of the men, older men, it's hard to move them. So we have to focus on the next generation. That's not excusing what anybody's doing. Also with mental health, in my opinion, I am not a psychologist, you guys. Um, it's like coming back to the Kanye conversation we had, right? What did we say about Kanye? If even though Kanye was going through mental situations, like he said, there's still consequences. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Just because you have a mental issue, just because you're not taking care of certain things on your end, does not mean that you are like exempt from the consequences of your actions. Now, this is dire with Justin and his wife. So I'm like pushing that to the side for the second. I'm just talking about mental health and consequences as a whole. We as men, we have to take mental health into consideration when we have these conversations, but also we can't use that to blame for all of domestic violence because every case is different. You know what I'm saying? It's not all the same thing. How did we get here? What did you go through as a child? What are you not taking care of? You feel me? Like, what did you see? Like with Chris Brown, he said he had a history of domestic violence with his what was it, like his dad or something. He learned it's
Yeah.
learned behavior. It's learned
Yeah,
behavior. So
but
those are
he
things
said
you have
that
to break
instead was
away from.
beating up girls.
That's what I'm saying. So what's the disconnect here? Like, is it a mental health thing or is it a patriarchal thing? Is it
Mm.
in either way it goes, there are learned behaviors here that no one's tackling. And if we get caught up in these conversations of mental health or not mental health, domestic patriarchal or not patriarchal, we start going into this circle of not fixing anything, and it's annoying to me personally. I think that's where I'm getting at. I think all hands should be on deck in this conversation. I think we as men should hold other men accountable when they do crazy things. If we see something, we should
Please.
definitely be saying something. We should definitely be jumping into these conversations with our friend. Hey, the way you reacted when that girl didn't give you her number, you was bugging out a little bit. I need you to pull that back. You feel me?
Why is it so
Faith,
hard to say this to your brethren?
I don't know.
Not
I
you per
need to
se.
know
I'm
the
just
age group.
saying,
Yeah.
you know.
I would like to know the age group of like some of these domestic violence cases as well. Because I know for me as a young man, I didn't have this wisdom. Were there people coming around giving me some of it? Yes, but it was sugar coated, so I didn't really understand what was happening on a full level. So I think it's one part of the people that's giving the information, not giving full information. They're not teaching about what consequences look like outside of going to jail. And as we know, a lot of the young people and some old people ain't scared of jail.
Yeah.
So it's like if that's the only consequence that I'm hearing about or that I'm foreseeing, then I do that time and move on. Um,
I want to touch on what you said about holding each other accountable and telling your brother, like, hey, this isn't the right thing.
mhm.
A lot of that does not happen, at least from what I see. Um, and I feel like if men were to hold each other accountable in these situations, it would happen less simple.
I agree. I agree.
I don't understand. I'm not trying to get too emotional. Let me look at these comments before I say my nice piece.
I,
Um,
I think it's being in on the youthful side of things. I think it's afraid of what people will say about you because what's the one thing that we know? Excuse my language, y'all.
you going to cut?
Uh, Because I wanted, we say bros before hoes culture.
Oh,
Um,
big
you
time.
know what I'm saying?
So the
And some
bros before hoes culture is not protecting the women.
no, no, it's not. I mean, and that's just
No type
like
of
the
protection.
light side of it.
No type of
No,
protection.
we.
So how can
I
we
don't
feel
think so.
safe to do these things for men? And it's bros before hoes.
You know, that's why I kind of understand the whole choose the bear conversation. And the thing that a lot of men was missing is the context behind those conversations because it wasn't just a men bashing thing. It was, we grew up in the 90s where there was like, at one point, there was like these budding factions. There was the people that's protect my people, protect women. And then you had like the NWA side was like, bitches ain't shit. Okay. I cursed again. Sorry.
Yeah, big
Um,
time, big time.
So I need people to understand this. So these are the types of things that was warring in the 90s, right? Pretty much all through the
It's
90s.
true.
Which side
It's
won
true.
out? Which side got all the money behind them and won out in music and movies and TVs and I'm not just talking about hip hop. I'm talking about the overall entertainment.
It's
When
facts.
you watch movies, how many dudes do you know are watching romantic comedies?
Mm.
They don't. So when the 2000s, the movies that we were watching, the Shallow Hals, the any movie with Rob Schneider in it, um, any movie with Owen, what's
Owen
his name?
Wilson.
Owens and Owen Wilson and the
Luke
other
Wilson.
guy,
Oh,
not
Owen
Luke,
Wilson and Ben Stiller.
not Ben Stiller. The other dude with the long head and the big
Vince
eyes.
Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn. Okay. Any movies with them, all the movies that every male, if you go and you survey any dude you know that grew up or was a teenager in those years, it's American Pie, it's Wedding Crashers, it's those types of movies that we were loving and we were consuming. And I'm not saying that you were mimicking those movies per se, but these, after a while, you get this stuff into your system and this is what you know, this is what you learn. Then you throw music on top of that. Then you throw all your
Mm,
anime. Look at your anime girls. Most of them, what happens with the girls?
mm.
It's not a lot. Right now, if I bring up,
Especially
if I
older,
say in a
especially
room,
older anime.
if I if I say in a room full of males that Sailor Moon will beat Goku, what happens?
Well, nowadays
What
it's gonna be
happens?
different.
But I'm just saying, like these things all, these are all the conversations that all females, all women are seeing. And then you wonder how we get to the bear and choosing the bears because we've been tainted. We've been taught that no matter what we do, we're right. No matter what we say, we're still right. The Meg the Stallion and Tori Wilson. Come on. Same thing. If you
Brother
look in the
Nathan.
comments, if you look in the comments, what is happening in those comments?
Mm.
I'm not saying these things separately are to blame. I'm not saying that they're not good men out here. That's not what women are saying. I mean, some of them maybe, but not all of them. There are extreme cases on both sides. But on the overall conversation, it does seem a lot more dangerous for women. Women can't go out at night because they have to watch people at Walmart. You guys, like, if you're a dude and you're not seeing
It
the
don't
issue
even
here, I
matter.
don't know what's wrong.
It doesn't
I
even
don't know what's
matter if
wrong with
it's
you.
night at or broad daylight. I don't feel safe getting in the car unless my husband's there.
And see, and that's an issue. That should be an issue for us. Because if you don't feel safe, then how can I send you out to the store? Now is
Exactly.
uprooting whatever I got to do because I got to go watch you. I got to go protect you.
Exactly.
Society, I'm not saying that that's an issue, guys. It's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying we have to take extra steps that don't have to be this way if we just, as men, take accountability for the other men that's in the section. That's all women are saying. That's all women are asking. Yes, there are some extreme cases, but if you've been on the extreme side of male violence, of course there are going to be extreme reactions.
And when you have a loved
I feel like
one,
talk too long. I'm sorry.
when you have a loved one or somebody does some big wild shit since we cussing, when they did something so crazy and insane as murdering their wife and then committing suicide, Don't be out here publicly saying how much you love your friend. Because in my eyes, now it seems like you support an abuser. Yeah, you may not have seen that side of him, but that side exists. That side exists, and that is what is going to be his legacy for now on, because that's how he left this world. Don't sit here and make it seem as though everyone is in her situation. Also, worry about them kids. What's going to happen to their kids? Like when people do these type of things, when they do these murder suicides and they have kids, what happens to the kids? What's weighing on their minds? What's how that's going to affect them for the rest of their lives? I
Mm.
just hate when we talk about these real world things because, it's, like I said, it's very heavy. It's very personal. Look at God.
Well, since you broke in this faith, I did send that link to your Instagram. So
I
if you
did
synced
see
it,
that link, by the way.
I just want
Um,
people to know that I sent it. You know.
I just wish, I just really wish that life was different. I
Mm.
wish I could feel safe. I wish I didn't have to have these conversations with my kids one day of how safe they need to be and treat each other. I wish I didn't have to look behind my back every few seconds when I'm walking. I wish I didn't have to look at every strange man. He's my enemy. At one point in time, we could look at each other and be like, "That's my brother. That's my sister." Now I could barely even call my black brothers and black sisters my brothers and sisters. Before we bring Faith up on the screen, I do want to get into these comments really quickly. White Dem said, as a child who witnessed this firsthand to becoming an advocate, this is a hard topic. Yes, mental health plays a huge role, but depression doesn't cause harm. Mental health doesn't equate to harm. White
I
Dem
agree.
also said it's both mental health and the patriarchy. However, we need to hold each other accountable and teaching the next generation how not to. And that's what we ended up getting into.
Hmm.
Adrian, while we're talking about demographics, the number of domestic violence incidents in police is 20% to 40%. What the? That was another
So
situation that happened too. There was a it was a lot of domestic violence situations happen like these past 2 weeks. A lot of them, and something like
I don't
that
want to
happened. I
equate.
forgot which state it was, but the guy and the lady were dating, and they broke it off, and he killed her. He murdered her. Crazy.
Man, this is
And
it's
this just
heartbreaking to hear this stuff.
this just
And
happened.
it felt like this past week it's been so many
It's
just
a lot.
moments like this.
It's definitely a lot. Um, Adrian also said women just got the right to vote 100 years ago, and there's movement in many conservative circles to take away our right to vote again. See now,
I was I wanted to look,
none of
especially when
us.
you brought up the police, Adrian. First of all, shout out to No Bustle Podcast. You guys, we did an episode last week on cartoons. It was really fun. Check it out. That's neither here nor there. When it comes down to, I feel like there's a correlation between leadership and like with the police. Like even with our main government leadership. And I would like to know what the domestic violence numbers were when, say, Obama was in office versus when we have President Trump too, on both terms of President Trump and on President Bush as well. Because I think a lot of times you hear certain things. I've been watching like videos of regular people and like the way that they correlate what's happening at the top of Washington with their everyday lives is kind of scary a little bit sometimes. So I think there maybe there's a correlation there with how brazen one would feel about certain crimes. Not necessarily that it's domestic violence, but I still would like to know. Maybe that's something else for another day. Any more comments? Because it was a lot of flashing
No,
comments over
no,
there, you guys. All
nothing
right,
else.
so right now, we're gonna bring up our good friend to the show,
Yes.
WrestleFaith. She's coming up out the student section today, y'all. So welcome to the show, WrestleFaith. It's good to see you.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey,
Sorry.
girl.
I'll just say this. So in my line of work, first and foremost, lived experience. I'll start there. I am a survivor of domestic violence. I was in a domestic violence relationship for 17 years. Um, Finally left, got me and my daughters out of there, my son as well, but he struggled with this whole situation. And so when I left his dad, my son, I can only say that he had something kind of similar to Stockholm syndrome, if that makes sense. And so
Mhm.
he didn't understand why I would leave his dad, who was obviously struggling with something in his mind. And at that time, I was not in this line of work. We were not talking mental health in our home. My kids had never heard that term. They just knew that whatever happened in the home stayed in the home, which a lot of African American households, that's kind of the narrative, right? Don't you be telling nobody what's going on outside of these four walls, so on and so forth. And so when I left, and my family was talking about what I revealed to them, the abuse I was suffering, and my son was hearing this, it was hard for him to put two and two. He was like, no. Although he also suffered the abuse. So it wasn't just me who got abused. My two older children did as well. But that's why I say he had that Stockholm syndrome, because he thought the reason his dad was like this is because he was dealing with, and we were in church, I kept my kids in church. He would say, Mom, dad's dealing with demons, and that's why he's doing this. But we got to love him like Christ loves us, and we just need to stay and love him. And so when I left, I knew that I needed to give my son some help. Otherwise, I was fearful he would repeat it in his relationships, because for his entire life, that's all he saw. And I think a lot of times we expect, or it's expected, that boys or men, oh, they can handle it, they can deal with it. But when a little girl or woman experiences it, let's run to her, let's surround her, let's support her. Yeah, how about we support both? Because I know my ex's past. He suffered through abuse as a child. He suffered through watching domestic violence in his own home. There is no conversation, and there's really no supports for young men who experience those things. A lot of times they're left to their own devices to figure it out. But if you act on it right after, if you can, if that person allows it to happen. And in this case, this was my son. And I'm like, I know what your dad has told you about counseling. That is for a weak minded person. People think domestic violence is just a physical thing. No, 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 no. It is emotional abuse. It is spiritual abuse, financial abuse. Domestic violence fits in all those categories, right? You just got this umbrella of domestic violence, and off of each of the points of the umbrella, you have what makes up that domestic violence. And you can experience one or you can experience all.
That's a fact.
But towards the end of my time in this relationship, I started working at the ministry I'm at now. And everyone knew. The day, I remember it still to this day, the day that I just couldn't take it anymore. I went and I told my boss, I said, I no longer feel safe going home tonight. I don't know what to do. And here's the crazy part, y'all. I was ministering and helping other women leave their domestic violence situations while
Wow.
I was in my own and not able to process how to get out of it.
Wow. So it was like sort of like a projection type thing.
It was. And this is where the mental health comes in, right? I wasn't able to process those same steps for me.
So for anyone that's where you were, what is like the first step? Because I know, they say the first step is like the hardest. So what is the first step?
The day that I went to work and I tried to work and I canceled all my appointments and I was crying, and my boss didn't even say anything. She just looked at me. And I remember sitting there saying, if I'm not saying I was saying this to myself, but you know how sometimes your flesh get to talking to you, right?
Yeah.
If you say this, they gonna look at you weakly and they gonna fire you, because how can you be going through this, but you've been sitting up here lying, but you've been helping these other women. And this is a Christian ministry. So you've been lying, so now you a sinner. Like, all that was going through my mind. And that's why it makes it hard. You start thinking, well, if someone finds out, how are they going to look at me? And then you start talking to yourself in the lines of, well, you know what? Maybe if I don't, maybe he was right. You start to justify the action. Oh, well, let me
Hmm.
go back and try one more time. And if it don't work out this time, I'm really going to leave this time. It takes a woman up to 13 times to finally walk away. The harder
Wow.
the abuse, the harder it is for them to leave. So 17 years, it was real hard for me to finally say to my boss, I am being abused and I don't know what to do. When I shared that with my boss went into action.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't sit and wait to hear me cry it all out. She said, okay, you feel for going home tonight? Stay right here. Be right
Mm-hmm.
back. She sent all the employees home. She shut down the ministry that day, except for an evangelist that was with us, and we call her Mama Opal. She was there, and then she called one of the pastors, and they prayed over me, and they prayed with me. And all that time, I didn't know they were setting up safeguards for me. She had, by the time I came back to work, she had his picture plastered on the door. If this is you, do not come here. We have hammers. Like, legit, was like, do not come here. She spoke to him directly. You are not welcome on this property. So you have to make sure you have a support system that you could go to. And if not, you need to go to a support system that was created, like a DV shelter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places that don't say DV shelter. And this is where I tell my daughters, I want you to look up where the police station is, find out where it is, memorize where it is. And I'm not telling them these things out of fear. I'm telling them these things so they can be proactive if they ever get caught up in a situation like what they saw growing up. Most DV shelters, they don't publish their addresses. and it's so
Yeah.
that others can't find them. But it is the hardest part is saying, "Hey, I need help." And then the next part after that is you getting clinical help. You have to address that trauma right away. And you need to get it for your children too. But it takes a lot. And I want to say this, it's not just women. Men go through DV. I had male DV clients.
Does the male side look totally different from the female side? Like, are there different emotions and attitudes that we have as men that might not align with the same way that women react to it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are some common emotions: shame, guilt,
Hmm.
justification. Um, but I will say this, the anger was very intense on the men's side, especially if the man was more muscular build.
I was about to just say they probably feel emasculated.
That's it. That's how they felt. And I would try to get them, I'm not a therapist, but I would pray with them. We would have, private talks. And it took them a long time to trust another woman, especially if the woman looked like the woman that was abusing them.
So is a lot of this sounds like it's almost community driven of your upbringing, of your background. Just in the black community, one, you got to take care of your kid no matter what. You're supposed to be with that lady that made that kid with you. And two, if you're a man and you getting beat up, it's not. I'm sorry. Let me reframe that. If you're a male and you're getting abused, it's not. Oh, I'm sorry that's happening to you. Let's find you a way out. It's man up. You know, don't be a pussy. You ain't supposed to be getting attacked by a woman. So, is that something that you hear a lot of as well?
I do. And it's sad because especially if it's a younger male, well, how did you let this happen? I've had to say, okay, let me tell you something. I will get real with you real quick. I remember I was helping this young man talk to his caseworker, reveal to his caseworker at another organization that he was being abused. He needed to get his daughter away. He wanted to file, um, he wanted to talk to CPS because his daughter was also on the end of that abuse. And instead of the caseworker, who was female, saying, okay, let's talk over the process. This is how you get a restraining order. Let me help you get, CPS involved, blah, blah, blah. How did you let it get this bad?
Wow. Wow. Again, that's probably from that community upbringing. That's probably how, they handle things from where she's from or like in her family. Because earlier you brought up how we learn these behaviors from family members.
These behaviors can be learned, but they can also be unlearned.
So how do we unlearn them?
It starts with choice by the person.
There it is. There it
It
is.
starts by choice. It starts by re educating yourself. Okay, although this was the norm for me, now I'm understanding that this is not normal. But that can't happen if you don't have the right people in place. You don't know what supports to go to. A lot of people run to a crisis line. That for domestic violence is a great place to start. But 9 times out of 10, after they have a talking session with you, there's two things that are going to happen. Well, what I need you to do now is pick up the phone and call 911, which is more than likely not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is what I can do is give you some resources that you can call right there. That's not going to happen. And that's where we falter in community And in some of these organizations, there's no immediate response for someone who calls and says, "Hey, I'm in trouble. I need to get out." Yeah, the police will come. The police will come. But if there's no real evidence on you and it's just you against that person and y'all going back and forth, there's nothing that's really going to come of it. I like here in Washington, if you call and it's a domestic violence call, they have to take one person.
Mm-hmm. That's
Mm.
how it was in South Carolina.
Whoever is being accused, that's normally who they take.
That's how it was in South Carolina. And whoever had like the most like visible marks or whatever,
Right.
that's who
And
stayed.
abusers know this. Some abusers know this because they're repeat offenders, right? And
Mm,
so what can they do before the police get there? They
yep,
can harm themselves.
yep,
So then they look more beat up than you do, and then you get taken, and now you have on top of what you've already been dealing with, the abuse you've been dealing with, you now have to deal with trying to get yourself out of a court case and prove that you were not the abuser, but the one being abused. And if it's a man, he's just gonna take that L. He is not gonna stand up in court and say, "I'm the one being abused." We have to start talking to our young men about what abuse looks like. It's not a physical thing all the time. I cannot let my son, who is a young black male, who has experienced abuse, who has watched his mother be abused, who has seen the abuser be his father, his biological father, sit here, and when you get in your funk, you start yelling and walking towards somebody. No, sir. That's threatening behavior, is what you're doing.
mm,
That's how we have to have these conversations. Like BK was saying earlier, you got upset that that girl didn't give you your number and you acted inappropriately. Pull back, fall back. And let
mm.
me tell you why you need to fall back. I set my son down and I was like, "You need to talk to so and so who went through this, who was the abuser. Listen to what their life was like. They may not be that person now, but listen to what they said." That's the type of interaction we need with both our sons and daughters in the home.
Yeah. I like what you said. You have to pull them to the side. You have to tell them and then give them the reason why you pulled them to the side. Don't just give them that one topical sentence. Like break that thing down so they understand. Because a lot of
Mhm,
times, especially in this new generation of kids, you really have to give them the whole thing because they
mhm.
only catch a piece of it. And then it's like, that's it. You don't give them any context. Now they out here lost. They only know that one part, but they don't know like the nuance in between that. That makes sense.
Yep.
It does.
Unfortunately, you guys, we got to end this conversation. It was amazing. It's an amazing conversation. And Faith, can we put you on speed dial?
Yes, you
Oh,
gotta come back.
yeah. Ain't no way you coming over here dropping these bombs like this, and then we not have you back on.
Right.
You gotta come back on. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Faith, thank you for
Thank you,
coming
Faith.
through. We definitely needed that.
Thank you guys.
See you soon, boo. Thank you so much, student section, for hanging out with us tonight. It was a very interesting evening for coming back to the show. I haven't been here since a month of Sundays, a month of Thursdays, and it just feels so good to be back. Thank y'all so
Hey man,
much.
it was a
Thank you for
very
holding it
interesting
down.
conversation.
BK, thank you for holding it down in my absence. Thank you for
You would have
holding
done
it
the same
down.
thing for me.
Shout out to No Bustle. Thank y'all. Shout out to JB. Thank you, brother. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
been,
JB was really holding us together.
yeah, JB. Hey, we've been having gym a lot lately. All right.
For real, for real. And thank you, Russell Faith. That was an amazing conversation. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for praying for us too. That's
Yes,
that's
that's
big,
massive.
y'all.
I appreciate that,
Yeah.
WrestleFaith. Like I
And congratulations on your show. I know it's
yes.
over, but you had a
Still
good run.
congratulations. Yes, you did, girl. All right, what you gonna say,
All
BJ?
right. I got
Oh,
nothing
it's
else to
my
say, so
turn.
you can go ahead and wrap this up.
Heading over to YouTube, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, subscribe, turn that notification bell so you do not miss any of our live videos or any of our um podcast episodes. Then also head over to www.societyandpopculture101.com where you can find all of our past, present, and future content. You'll also be able to find all of our social media and leave us a little donation in our cup of coffee. Is it bottom left? On the bottom left.
Bottom left.
And
That's on the phone and on the website if you're
and
on
on the
your
website.
computer, PC,
And on the website.
desktop, whatever y'all calling computers these days.
And if you just leave just one little dollar with your suggestion, you may hear your topic here on the show.
That's right. Or if you just have like an extended comment you want to make, we might read that thing on the show. We might make a special segment just for that
Just for you. Just
at
for
the
you.
end. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Welcome back, Novocaine. Thank you,
Thank
student section.
you.
We gotta go, y'all. I have been Instructor BK Spades.
I'm Instructor Novocaine.
And thank you guys for being in the student section. We